Final Fantasy as a franchise is notorious for referencing itself, and 14 is no exception. Endwalker featured many references to Final Fantasy IV, and we can already see some new references to other games being alluded to in Dawntrail's promotional material. We've been seeing references to 6 as well as 10, but I want to draw attention to Final Fantasy IX, an entry we might see have an influence on the story this time around. Before I begin, keep in mind this video was made before Dawntrail came out, so it's mostly speculation. Additionally, I will be discussing major spoilers for both Final Fantasy IX and Final Fantasy XIV. If you're coming here from 14, I highly encourage you to give 9 a shot. It's a really good one. Originally, Final Fantasy IX wasn't on my radar for Dawntrail, with most of my attention being drawn to Final Fantasies 6 and 10. That changed during the 2024 Japanese Fan Fest, where they revealed a new location, Solution 9. This is really important, because Solution 9 is one of the signature attacks of Final Fantasy IX's lead protagonist, Zidane. This is an ability he can use when he's under the effect of trance, a powered-up mode that characters in 9 can take in battle. This is 9's version of Limit Break. Zidane in particular is a character we probably want to pay attention to. It's possible that he might partially serve as some inspiration for Dawntrail's new melee job, Viper. Zidane is a thief in the game, and he can both dual-wield daggers as well as use double-bladed weapons. It's unclear how much Viper might be based on Zidane, if at all, but I won't be surprised if we at least see a few skills based on Zidane's moveset. So how might 9 influence Dawntrail's story? To understand, we need to go over some of 9's themes and plot elements. Final Fantasy IX has a lot of focus on finding meaning in life as well as acceptance of death. Many of the characters were born in unfair circumstances, but find the drive to fight for their own future despite what fate might have planned for them. One such character is Garnet. She is a survivor of the Summoner tribe, a race of people who were wiped out when she was just a child. She was found and taken in by a royal family who hid her true identity from everyone, including Garnet herself. She struggles to find herself, trying to juggle her responsibility to her kingdom as well as her heritage that was lost to her. It's possible we might see some parallels between Garnet and Wook Lammat, or maybe even another participant in Tuliolol's King's contest. Most of the King's children, including Wook Lammat herself, are adopted. We may not see a situation identical to Garnet's, but perhaps one of the King's children will be struggling with their responsibility to Tuliolol and their origins that have been left behind. Another character is Vivi. He is from a race of black mages, artificial souls that were created to be tools of war. Black mages were only created for destruction, and yet many of them yearned for a peaceful way of living. They have short lifespans, and they don't understand what it means to die. Vivi is terrified of this, and his journey has him struggle with his origins, as well as find peace with his short lifespan. And then there's Zidane himself. Zidane is a genome, a race that was artificially created by a man named Garland, who in turn was created by the ancient Terrans. Terra was a world separate from Nine's world, Gaia. Thousands of years ago, in an attempt to save themselves, the Terrans tried to fuse their world with Gaia. This attempt was a failure, for Gaia was too full of life. And so, the souls of the Terran people went into stasis, waiting to be reborn. The genomes were created so that one day the Terrans could be revived. They were to act as vessels for the Terran souls, and as such, the genomes themselves have no souls, with some exceptions. They do not have childhoods, most of them created with grown bodies. They lack emotions and hold no value to their own lives. Their only purpose is to prepare themselves to receive the soul of a Terran. In order to aid the process, Garland created 3 genomes with souls. They were to be angels of death, to incite war on Gaia and manipulate the cycle of souls so that Terra could fuse with Gaia completely. One such genome was Kuja, the main antagonist of Final Fantasy IX. He is selfish, holds no value in the life of others, and cannot accept his own death. Another is Zidane, who is unaware of his true identity. Unlike other genomes, he was created as a child. After he was born, Kuja abandoned him on Gaia, and Zidane spent his life struggling to find where he belonged. Once he discovers the truth of his origin, he falls into despair. With the help of his friends, he realizes that he's the one who determines his own purpose. His origins do not change the meaning of the journey he's made and the friends who stand beside him. The third genome with a soul is a girl named Mikoto, who was created to guide Zidane should he ever return to Terra, and replace him if he and Kuja were to fail Garland's mission. At the end of the game, Zidane takes her and the other genomes to Gaia and tries to help them find their own meaning in life. The genomes in particular might be especially relevant to Dawntrail. Going back to the city of Solution 9, we don't see any people in the promotional material, but we do see signs, and these signs say interesting things when translated. Some of it is pretty normal and not too unusual to see in a city setting, but one such sign stands out. It says, Soul Supply. There's another location I think is worth mentioning, Heritage Found. Like Solution 9, it's located in the northern region of Zakteral. We don't have much information about this location yet either, but given it's in the same region as Solution 9, as well as multiple characters in Final Fantasy IX literally looking for their heritage, I wouldn't be surprised if this location is relevant to 9 as well. Considering that genomes are a race of people who were created specifically to be vessels for other souls, I wonder if it's possible we may encounter them or another such similar race here in Solution 9. If so, what were the genomes made for? Could they exist to be vessels for the ancients? Or maybe the souls of another shard that was destroyed in a rejoining? Perhaps they could even be people who lived on the source, who were wiped out in a previous calamity. This is all speculation, of course, but the possibility of genomes appearing in 14 is definitely very interesting. Looking at the Dawntrail poster, I'm curious about this character at the top. Most of these characters appear to be related to the King's Contest in Tuliolal, but this character stands out, and I wonder if they're more closely related to the Solution 9 storyline. Maybe they're even a genome themselves. This, however, is pure speculation on my part. They could be completely unrelated to Solution 9. Regardless, at this time, we have no information about this character besides their appearance on the Dawntrail poster, so all we can do is speculate. While the things I discussed in this video may not necessarily make an appearance in Dawntrail, I do find the possible connection to genomes particularly interesting. The story of the Terrans is very similar to the story of the Ascians. Regardless of what happens, I do find Solution 9's connection to Final Fantasy IX very exciting, and I think it's something to keep an eye on. How do you feel about Solution 9? Do you agree with me? Or maybe you disagree? Let me know what you think. I'm interested in hearing your speculation for Dawntrail as well, and I eagerly await the launch of the next expansion.